Alright, welcome to another edition of What the Fuck, happenings YouTube atheist community and sticking fun. Ugh, tired. Yeah, sticking was okay last night. It was an okay night. It had its moments, some better than others. It's tolerable. Got through it anyway. Yeah, I just wasn't in a very good mood. Still am not in a very good mood. And such. And so, yeah, it's old, it's so trying of the patience, as they say. So anyway, it was just weird too. Yeah, that's what it was also. It was okay-ish and weird. I don't know, there should be scales. Yes, like YouTube, we need words, descriptive words. So it wasn't ouch, and it wasn't, ooh, fail would be a good one. It was a little faily. But anyway. I just don't know what to say. I'm not going to say Jupiter's cock. I'm just not going to do it. So anyway, I'm going to move on to other parts of the evening. Let's see. Yeah, really was. There was one middle part there. It was a pretty good little argument about, I don't know, something. And such. Yeah, I can't remember what we argued about. It probably was some of this antinatalism stuff. I just don't remember the specific argument or who it was with. Well, anyway, I got some of it anyway on the camera. So I'll post that whenever I get around to it on the website. And the document guys probably got the rest. But like I say, some of it you could do without. Probably should be edited into a condensed version. Yeah, I'm just off my game a little. Whatever that means. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where to go from there. I guess I'll just move on to events or such. I don't know if there are any events. Let's see, YouTube videos. The Professor Anton thing just keeps kind of going back and forth. Yeah, he's talking about imagination now. That's sort of an interesting subject. What we imagine and how much that creates how much that gets in our way or how much that makes the way. And that's the question. Does it do more harm than good? I would always argue in defense of seeing more than seeing less. Better to know you're doomed than not, in my opinion. But anyway, I'll get to that maybe later. If I resort to making a video out of this video, it's not really the purpose of a what the fuck. So yeah, it's yeah, the video might be over now, so you can move along, and I'll just talk about something. Yeah, let's see, there were a couple of new people. Pink Moon, yeah, she's like this kind of angry, Asian chick, and that's sort of cool. I have to admit, that does do something for me. Angry and depressive Asian chicks, come on, can't go wrong there. So yeah, she's cute and such. What's something else? What the hell would that be, Gary? I don't know. Yeah, so there's some other people, no doubt. I'll get around to that eventually. Yeah, so it's really just the same old crap. I mean, it's all this little minutia arguments about little, how much this is compared to that and all that kind of shit. And I don't know. This seems kind of obvious. You either get it or you don't get it. I mean, you either get the idea of imposition or you don't get the idea of imposition. I mean, it's not that complicated. I mean, this life game isn't free. There's lots of people who suffer, and sometimes quite dramatically, and they're not going to do that if we don't do this human-y thing. And that's just a fact. So the people doing the human thing on purpose and with gusto have to account for the fact that they're going to run over some people in the process. That's exactly the cost of doing it. And, maybe it's okay for you to take those risks, but I find them unacceptable. Even if I'm participating in them right this moment, by being part of the system, I'm essentially financing or helping to finance, Chinamen and coal mines and all that kind of crap that goes with it. I'm not endorsing it. So there's a big difference. You don't have to endorse something. You can play out your role as an addict without being a creator of the problem. And that's the only argument here. You have the choice not to perpetuate. I'll take shit on the table for. I don't know how people could leave stuff on the table when it's that glaring. Jeez, retards. Anyway, kind of tired. It's annoying. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's got to be annoying for you also. My brain is slow, functioning slowly. Anyway, so yeah, there are these people I gotta do responses to, but it's like they're almost not worth the trouble. They're so stupid and obnoxious and arrogant. It's like, oh, their arguments are so vacant. The argument from bad argumentation. I mean, gee, like we could do that all day, right? You know, just say, I don't know, straw man ad hoc, you motherfucker, you mother ad homer. I mean, it just becomes ludicrous. The levels of non-argumentation, pointing out how the other guy doesn't have argumentation. I don't know. Anyway, again with that fucking word. So yeah, Piro was in the room, no Paul's ego, no other celebrities of sorts, except for Karina and her Jupiter cockrod. Anyway, yeah, it's girls. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, there should be something, but yeah, there just really wasn't. So it was sort of a placeholder evening. But yeah, I do have to do something. Do have to change the approach, whatever. Shake things up, blah, blah, blah. Try something new, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Yeah, I have to do the Benatar book. You know, I got to finish those videos. Yeah, there's lots of stuff to do. I have no shortage of to-do stuff on my list. So anyway, yeah, so just messing with Anton's argument a little bit about this imagination thing. It doesn't really matter. People can, and I think for sometimes good cause, allow their imagination to even persecute them. Like, say you were a dog fucker and you got caught dog fucking. Yeah, you might find it just totally unacceptable to your pride and dignity. Like, you just couldn't live anymore because now you're known as a dog fucker, and as a practical matter, you just can't live the life you need to live. You can't have self-respect and any dignity, and you sort of use your imagination to play that out in your head, and you just don't see any way that you can live a life as a dog fucker. And so you jump in front of a train or whatever, but that would be real pain, and it's real pain caused by just having a standard that says that's not good enough. Life has to be more than that. I can't be a dog fucker. I'll be known as one anyway. And I could be a secret dog fucker, but I can't be a publicly exposed dog fucker. And that's all my point is that it doesn't really matter how credible someone's standards are in terms of finding life sickening or below grade or inadequate. Who cares what their standards are? The point is their pain is going to be real, and that's all part of the price you pay for this game. And you just can't ignore it, because you can't. It's not the game isn't played personally. Yeah, we play it as individuals personally, but when you judge the game itself, you have to judge it over what it produces overall. Just like you can't look at our lifestyle here in the Americas and say that's the game. You have to look at the labor camps that produce our lifestyle, and they have to be understood as being part of the price. But there's no free lunch, so to speak, and you can't be fair to the questions that are going to get raised if you keep pretending that the lunch is free. That's just bullshit. It's a lie. It's a very simple concept. You know, so you can't just go by some case-by-case basis and say, here, because I have anecdotal evidence that it worked here and it worked there, that therefore it works. No. It's like nuclear power. You can't judge it because there's a nuclear power plant that's been in operation for 50 years and never had an incident. Well, that doesn't prove nuclear power safe. You know, it just doesn't. You have to go by the overall performance under the average conditions to make an assessment of whether it's cost effective. I mean, if you have an inevitable failure rate, that ain't good. I mean, that's what sort of ended the space shuttle program, is they sort of figured they have an inevitable failure rate built into it. And it's not a good failure rate. You know, there's pretty high odds that eventually we were going to lose an astronaut, you know, to a piece of garbage taking him out. And that sure wouldn't look too good on TV. So yeah, it's that's the reality. It has to be dealt with. All right. Yeah, so imagination is a good thing. People can have, you know, silly standards for appreciations and evaluations based on, you know, what they see in their mind. You know, where they're imagining themselves the winner of the lottery or some other nonsense. I mean, obviously their imagination is working against them. It's almost seducing them with bullshit. And you can do the contrary, where somebody can be completely exaggerated in their fear aversion. Like every time they hear an airplane, you know, they worry that it's going to fall on their head. I mean, those extremes are maybe worth mentioning, but it's not where the argument should be about. And there's plenty of, well, it doesn't matter what there is. Point is the argument should be about what we know to be possible, realistic, probable, and certain. And there we do have things that fit into all those categories. And we ought to deal with that shit. We know it's a certainty that as long as we keep perpetuating the human race, there'll be a significant percentage that will draw very, very unlucky straws. And they will endure hardship, whether at their own, tripping over their own feet, so to speak, making horribly poor choices, whatever the causes are. We know some of them are going to be completely physical. You know, they're going to get the bad gene straw and end up with cancer or some other disability. And then there's just lots of circumstantial bad straws where you're born at the wrong neighborhood at the wrong time and everything just starts going to shit and you never get out from under the shit. There's going to be a lot of pain and a lot of suffering, and it's just kind of bullshit for people to sit in their comfortable lives and talk about how great it is to play the game. It's super bullshit. I don't know what you do about it exactly, because I mean, obviously I wouldn't deny people who have had a privileged life from having an opinion. They just have to protect against the accusation that they are being insensitive, that they aren't being fair, because the truth is that they would pay big giant money not to live other people's lives. I mean, if I put somebody's life on the table, you know, I don't know, 28-year-old Chinese woman, Japanese woman, you know, living on the coast, tsunami comes in, tears her daughter out of her arms. You know, she finds the body 15 minutes later, beaten up and tattered and drowned. You want to live that? I mean, come on. Who wants to live that? Who wouldn't pay big money not to live that life? What do you do for the next 10 years except have that horror roll through your head every day? Who the fuck needs that? And if it doesn't roll through your head every day, then I guess I'm going to accuse you of being a little bit fucktarded in your values, that you don't really have enough appreciation for the dignity and character of the sentient organism and what it means to see it abused and battered and harshly and brutally smashed to death. I mean, if that doesn't scare the shit out of you, I'm sorry. You're too fucking weird for me. You might as well be fucking dogs, fella. So, yeah, the truth has got to be served. And the truth is, you wouldn't pay the price if the price was really part of the contract. It was really staring you in the face. And you had to actually pull the straw, you know, to live your little life. You had to risk some kind of real horror. I don't know if you'd pull those fucking straws, bastard. I really don't think you would. I really don't. Do you feel lucky? I mean, really, that's how life should be perpetuated, based on whether people have a lucky feeling. And that's the bullshit of the whole thing. That's the only reason why it is perpetuated. Is people have this notion that they're immune, that they won't fall in the trap, that the bullet won't hit them, it'll hit the guy next to them in the trench. People always have that perception. They don't, being fatalistic and worried is unpleasant, so they choose to do the other and be hopeful and unrealistic. And you should at least acknowledge that that's what's gotten us where we are. We haven't gotten here being realistic. We've gotten here because people have been preposterously and grotesquely, excessively optimistic. I mean, they were having babies in the middle of the Black Plague, for Christ's sakes. People are nuts. So anyway, enough said, I believe. Yeah, it's one of those days. It's humid out, and I feel humid in. Anyway, until next time and such. Yeah, sorry, not a great video. But they all can't be spectacular and brilliant. But it does have Jupiter's cock in it. 3 of them, so that's got to be worth something. So till next time and such. And so forth and whatnot.